Okay, so I picked up this Harbor Freight mini mill last week, and it was retrofitted with Acme screws and NEMA 23 stepper motors for the X, Y, and Z. But when I got it, it was wired to use Mach 3 and used a parallel port. My computer doesn't have a parallel port, and I didn't want to pay for a subscription to Mach 3. So looking online, I wanted to use CNC Shield version 3, and since they're NEMA 23s, I couldn't use the drivers that came with it. I wanted to use these TB6600 stepper drivers. Again, when I look online, there's not much information about wiring the CNC Shield to the TB6600 drivers. Most every Reddit post just says, hey, I don't use those drivers, and doesn't really explain how to wire them, so I wanted to go through it real quick. First, got a 24 volts power supply coming up to the positive and the negative, and that does matter. That was kind of my first mistake, and it cost me a lot of time. And then 4 wires from my X stepper coming up to the A positive negative and B positive negative. When I touched the green and black together and tried to spin the stepper, there was resistance, and when I stuck these two together and tried to spin the stepper by hand, there was resistance, so I knew they were on the same loop. That's why I have them wired there. The next thing is all of the step direction and enable negative, the pull negative, direction negative, and enable negative. They're all kind of jumpered into ground. So you can see enable negative to direction negative to pull negative, and then pull goes into ground on the CNC Shield Arduino. And then the enable positive, I also have to the ground on the Arduino. So this is the part that I had a hard time with. So direction positive, it's the white wire, and it comes out to this little breakout on the side. Try to focus it here. So you see X step, X direction, Y step, Y direction. So the red is the step, and the white is the direction. Pull step, red, direction, white. So ground and enable are to the ground, step and direction are to these pins on the side, and then critical, I had to jumper the enable to ground back up here. That moves the enable from what was these. This top left pin was enable, but since I'm not using this driver that came with the set, I'm using the TB6600, I had to use that jumper. Let's get a quick demo here. So I flashed GBRL to my Arduino. Can't really see it. This is universal G-code sender. Press connect. And I can step my X in the jog mode and Y. I'm really excited. Hope this helps.